he had the most touchdowns out of any rookie last year. What are we doing? All right, I guess I just got to get into it because a lot of people are talking with their feelings and not facts here. So let's just get into it. Number one team, the Broncos. I have them at 15-2. This has nothing to do with Bo Nix, right? This has nothing to do with Bo Nix. This has to do with the team. And if you come here thinking I'm biased because I'm high on Bo Nix, you get another thing coming. Don has them at 10-7, 13-4 for Jason, 11-6 for Khalid, Sora at 13-4, and Hayden at 12-5. Look, to say that we're high on the Broncos, we are very high. So if you're comparing this to a CJ Stroud situation, you're totally incorrect, right? CJ Stroud not only is not married, he wasn't as old as Bo Nix, did not have to go through the controversy that Bo Nix had to in college to prove himself that he was still a good quarterback when he went to Oregon. I was the only one on YouTube at the time when he did transfer, and Sora can tell you this, several years ago, I said that he's probably going to be in the Heisman voting here in a couple years, and he was. So here we go. And if we're talking about playoffs and things like that, that's just a lazy argument to prove that it's just a lazy argument. Like you talk about team statistics and on how good a player plays. Like any of the times that he lost against, if you even go to Michael Penix Jr., it wasn't because of him. Let's go watch those games on the Dan Lanning screw up in the fourth quarter, and then the last game a catch that the dude could have caught it and he dropped it. So, but we're not going back to the college days. 10-7 last year, plus 114 point differential, ranking 7th in the league. The Broncos faced the 13th easiest schedule last year based on their opponents from 2023 winning percentages, but really faced a top 10 schedule last year when it was all said and done. Offensive performance. We know that their offensive line was awesome. There was a major strength on the Broncos. They led the NFL in both pass block win rate and run block win rate in 2024. Bo Nix led all rookies in touchdown passes and passing yards in 2024. Play calling used the air choreo offensive scheme this year to help him out. Cortland Sutton led the team in receiving yards at over 1,000. Javonte Williams, who has been injured the last 2 seasons, comes in and now has found himself on a different team with the Cowboys. Had only 513 yards. They brought Andre Gastame in, and it just didn't work out between him, Jaleel McLaughlin, and things like that. The points allowed. The Broncos allowed 311, ranking 3rd in the league. Yards allowed 317.1 per game, ranking 7th in the league. The Broncos led the league in sacks with 63, setting a franchise record. Now, the Broncos have had really good defenses over the years, and last year they led the league. Pat Surtain is the best corner in the league next to a guy, Derek Stingley Jr. Their secondary ranked number 1, even with Riley Moss getting hurt last year. Riley Moss is completely healthy this year. Vance Joseph has had struggles as a head coach, has had struggles as a defensive coordinator, and now the defensive performance will still be in the reins of him while bringing over Dre Greenlaw and bringing over 𝗕𝘂𝘂𝗀𝗋𝗄, who hopefully they can stay healthy. Alex Singleton has a broken thumb right now. Hopefully he can heal from that. I don't think that would do anything. I think that'll heal just right up. A broken digit is okay. Jonah Ellis coming over from Utah showed some flashes last year. Really surprised the hell out of me. So we'll see if he can step up. And Zach Allen is one of the most disrespected defensive linemen. Even we disrespect him this year in our list. But we just want to see more consistency out of him. He was a reign of terror last year as well. They probably had the second or third best O-line in the whole NFL. When you think about the combination of Riley Moss, Chris Abrams-Drain, Pat Surtain, and then drafting Jahdae Barron, this has to be the best corner group in the NFL, bar none. I don't think Bo Nix is going to take a sophomore slump. Look, he's older than a lot of rookies. I don't think any of those rookies are, to be honest. The rookies that we've seen a lot, Bo Nix, or Jaden Daniels. First of all, they're way mature beyond their years. Bo Nix is married, which has a lot to do with it. If you're comparing CJ Stroud to Bo Nix, CJ Stroud was out fooling around, doing all these podcasts, doing all this other crap, and had all these off the field distractions. Bo Nix is going to go train with Drew Brees and stay with him for a week to learn how to be the best quarterback that he can be. So if he takes a step back, I'll be the first one to say he takes a step back. You can bookmark this all you want. You guys said the same thing last year, and I didn't see you guys come back when we got a lot of these records right. Here's the other thing. Evan Ingram is going to help with the inconsistencies that Adam Troutman had last year. He just was not consistent. If Evan Ingram can stay healthy, as a Jaguars fan, I've seen him have his 2 best years with a lowly Trevor Lawrence. And I can understand right now that if Bo Nix gets him, he's going to be great. They got rid of Javonte Williams. They picked up J.K. Dobbins, but I know you've heard this before, and I'll say it again. R.J. Harvey is going to give a dynamic to Bo Nix in that offense that they haven't seen last year. He's going to be a consistent threat in the pass game. He's going to be a consistent workhorse for them on that offense whenever they need a big play to happen. He was number 2 to Ashton Jeanty in explosive play percentage last year. And in open space, nobody's catching him. So we'll see how that happens in the NFL, of course. This is all speculative. But the one thing I can tell you is catching the ball out of the backfield is something that Bo Nix is used to. Everywhere that he's gone, he's used to Will Stein's offense, Kenny Dillingham's offense, where they utilize short game, passing over the top. Then you're going to go get him a Pat Bryant while having Devon Vele there, who are 2 great impacts in the passing game. I think Pat Bryant's going to have a bigger impact. We're going to do a complete breakdown of him, just like I did with Damian Martinez. But here's the thing. What I can say is Courtland Sutton coming back is going to be great. They signed him to an extension. Coming back, he seems a lot happier with the quarterback that he has there. And I've been on record trusting Bo Nix more than anybody else. And the one thing that I can tell you is I've been right about a lot of quarterbacks. So you can add that to the arsenal. The Trevor Lawrence thing, I told you that he wasn't going to be as good years ago as that he is now. He's okay. Everybody can talk about sophomore slumps. Everybody can talk about they have film on you now. Everybody can talk about we know exactly how to deal with this. But that's just, to me, lazy analysis on that. If you don't think, as a former coach and people that have film on people, that we're not going to switch things up on offense, that we're not going to show different things on this offense, that Bo Nix is going to be the same quarterback that he was last year, not that he also has reps and film on everybody else. So when people constantly say this guy's going to be this or this guy's going to be that, you also have to think about the opposite, that people are going to game plan against this. So is what it is. The Broncos are going to be 13-4 to us. They're going to win the division this year. And the one thing that I'll always harp back on, there's been several teams that have ended up in the Super Bowl that have had the same statistic. And I don't let it go off of history, but I think it's very, very interesting on the team that they had last year and how much the improvements that they have, not only during the offseason, but in the draft that they've had. 6 of their 7 losses were lost by 1 score or less. The Denver Broncos lost like 42-10 against the Ravens, I believe it was, last year, and that was their deepest loss. They could have been, realistically, if things would have went one way, they could have been 16-1 last year. Any teams that have done that in the past have gone pretty deep in the playoffs or ended up in the Super Bowl. It's not, you can look it up. It's not facts, or it's not fiction. That is facts. So that's where we lie with the AFC West as well.